Hey everyone, and welcome! Today, we are going to tackle a topic that I know is on a lot of people's minds: the stability of our financial world. You know that feeling you get sometimes that something just feels a little off with the economy? Well, this explainer is for you.
So let's just jump right in with a question that really cuts to the heart of the matter. We all think of money as, the cash we have, the numbers we see in our bank accounts. But what if I told you that the vast majority of that money isn't really tangible at all? What if it's just a digital promise created by banks?
All right, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to talk about the core concern. Why are we even having this conversation? Then we'll get into how the system actually works. From there, we'll explore four pretty different potential futures. And most importantly, we'll wrap up with a practical plan to help you prepare what's called an anti-fragility plan. Okay, so first up, let's explore that feeling, that sense that our entire financial system might just be built on something a little fragile. And that concern really comes from the nature of what we call money today. You've got to understand this key difference. On one side, we've got what you could call real money. This stuff is tied to actual goods and services, the things we make and do in the real economy. But on the other side, you've got credit money. And this is basically debt. It's created out of thin air, digitally, whatever a bank makes a loan, or when a central bank fires up the so-called money printers. So, you might be wondering, how did this balance between real money and credit money get so incredibly lopsided? Let's take a look at how this system is actually functioning right now. And wow, this chart really puts it into perspective. Some estimates suggest that a mind-boggling 90, even up to 97% of everything we consider money in our economy is actually just credit money. Only that tiny little sliver is real money. What that means is our entire global economy is running almost completely on a system of digital IOUs. Now, this didn't just happen overnight. It really kicked into high gear back in 2008 with the financial crisis. That's when central banks started creating massive amounts of new credit. Then, in 2020, the pandemic response just poured gasoline on the fire. And the result of all that? Well, it's the soaring asset prices and the stubborn inflation that so many of us are feeling in our daily lives. So if the system is under this much stress, what could the next decade actually look like? Well, the source material we're looking at lays out four pretty distinct possibilities. The most probable scenario, at about 50%, is what's called a gradual decline. But there are also other, much more dramatic possibilities on the table: a sudden financial reset, a chaotic period of hyperinflation, or even a move toward total control through things like central bank digital currencies. The really critical thing to notice here: none of these paths look like a return to the normal we used to know. Okay, so with all that potential uncertainty, what is a regular person supposed to do? Well, the focus shifts away from trying to guess the future and moves toward preparation. The goal is to build what the source calls anti-fragility, basically becoming resilient enough to not just survive, but maybe even thrive, no matter which of these scenarios plays out. And the key here, the really big idea, is diversification across different types of assets. So that means having a foundation of physical things like gold, silver, maybe some land. It means having some cash on hand. It could even mean having a small piece in digital assets. But maybe the most important asset of all is the one that no one can ever take from you: your own skills. This is a great little table because it shows there's no single magic bullet, right? Every asset has its pros and its cons. Gold has been a store of value for centuries, but it can be volatile. Farmland is amazing for self-sufficiency, but you can't sell it in 5 minutes. And crypto, well, it offers some incredible advantages, but it also comes with huge volatility and risks. The point is, a balanced approach is what you're looking for. But here's something that might be even more important than what you own. It's about what you can do. These kinds of practical skills become priceless during times of change. Knowing how to grow food, how to fix things, how to generate your own power, or even just how to build a strong network of neighbors. That stuff provides a kind of security that money just can't buy. So we've talked about assets, we've talked about skills, but this whole strategy, this whole anti-fragility plan really boils down to one final and maybe the most important idea of all. It's the central principle that holds everything else together. And here it is. When you look back through history, during times of huge upheaval, it's never the wealthiest people who are guaranteed to make it through. It's the most adaptable. Building your flexibility, learning practical skills, and fostering strong community bonds, that isn't just a defensive strategy. It's the best possible investment in a resilient future.
So the question is, how adaptable are you?